In this series of awakening, we are exploring how it is awakening is turning up through our collective, and some really simple tools that you can use in your daily life to maintain your sense of self, your security and stability as we move through those changes. And in this video, we're just going to have a little review of what we've done so far and how it is that in this sense where we want to really keep control and kind of hold on to that sense of stability, we can actually destabilize ourselves further. So what is it that you can start to do to be more versatile, more adaptable as things move dynamically around you?
Allow your heart to listen.
Hi, I'm Nid, a soul guide, and I support people through the awakening journey, whether that is through a relationship that is like a twin flame, or it's a really deep breakdown that's happened, or perhaps that is through a physical, really long-term sickness, often deep nervous system work, as you're activated to feel and step into life, into being more engaged in your actual physical experience on earth, which is also a spiritual one. And this is what we're exploring, is what happens in awakening, but in particular, this collective awakening that we are all in. Everyone is being elevated. Everyone is being asked to open their hearts, their minds, and in particular, their nervous system. And so that's a key part of this series, is ways to support your nervous system. But I wanted to offer you a movement practice, something that would help you drop into yourself. And so that is what we're going to move on to next. We're going to do a short movement sequence, which you can do on the floor. You don't need a mat for. You might want to sit on a cushion for this first movement piece, and potentially even for all of it. So just cross your legs if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, you could sit in a straddle position and allow your hips to try and soften at the front as best you can, and just let your hands rest wherever feels good. You may close your eyes or draw your attention down towards a point on the floor so your eye muscles can relax, and draw your awareness a little inwards. Take a moment just to feel the hips resting on the floor or your support beneath you. And as you allow that dropping of gravity beneath the pelvis, if you can release a little in the low back and allow the deep abdomen to slightly draw up, feeling the spine lengthen up and allowing the crown of the head to slightly lift. The chin will slightly drop down. Sense this upward motion of the spine in response to gravity, lifting and lengthening your energy upwards. And as though that movement of energy rises from the ground, spiraling up along the spine, letting it spiral towards the crown of the head and out, up towards the sky. Feel that spiral moving through your body, and allow that spiral to begin to move the body, whichever direction, whatever speed. Let the range of movement for your body start to naturally occur. And as you let that spiraling move, notice if there are parts of the spine that movement feels harder for it to move through. And sense if you can start to move a little bit more freely into that part of the spine. And it's really tuning in intimately to the body, as to where needs what quality and speed of movement, allowing other parts of the body to respond. Allowing that spiraling upwards. And this is a practice where you can stay with just one side, or if you feel so inclined, you may start to go the other way. So just feeling into if that spiraling upwards begins to come in the other direction, or if it stays going one way. Feel it rise whichever way and however it moves, in the quality that suits you best. Just make sure that you're always kind. Any pinching or grinding feelings, try and lift out, as though the energy is trying to create space between each of the vertebrae. This is a nervous system attunement, and the more space that you can make between your vertebrae, the more space that nervous system is going to start to have through your spinal cord to reattune itself, to be more sensitive in more dynamic extremes of polarity. And then there will become a time where you'll naturally begin to want to find a bit more stillness in that spine. And that spiraling may continue within. And once you've found that stillness, and you might need to pause this video in order to take your time, we're going to stretch out our legs. And if you want to stay on your cushion, you can. But you're also welcome to come off if that feels comfortable for your hips. Now, if your legs don't go completely straight, that's not a problem. You can keep them slightly bent. We're going to be moving the legs in and out anyway. Let your hands rest on your thighs. So you've got this lovely contact and feeling of the hands and the thighs being a partnership. Again, try and find that tall spine, that sense that you're still spiraling up towards the sky from the root of your tailbone through to the crown of your head. And then one leg at a time, you're just going to let one knee bend and one leg straighten, creating an easy twist. And then it's going to change. Allow the legs to do this in the most easeful, yet there is a strength, a deep strength. And as though the legs, as they're doing this, are drawing the energy up from the earth through the roots of your feet. So open the arches of your feet, flex the toes to the sky, and allow those arches of the feet to activate those lower domes in the body to let the energy rise up from the arch of your feet into your pelvic floor. Let that lift, keep your spine tall. And as though you're drawing the energy up through your legs, start to allow this spiral to become more dynamic again, being playful as you like with your hands, and that movement and the twist. It does not need to stay the same. You can add in more shapes with the body. And you might want to start to flow your arms, allowing them to move into different shapes, creating all kinds of flow that are a bit more dynamic and resting within. Keep your hands moving on your legs. Let your hands spiral up and down your legs to create this energy flow. Get it moving up and down the body. There is no order. Let it be as unpredictable as you can, because that is dynamic change, to be unpredictable. And again, when it feels right, allow it to come to stillness. Allow your legs to be whatever position helps you rest in stillness. And for our final shape, for this dance of stability, we're going to come onto hands and knees. If your knees are sensitive, make sure you put some extra cushioning underneath them, and the same with your wrists. And then on those hands and knees, just spread your fingers so you've got really nice support for your wrists, and think about the collarbones being nice and wide so you're not hunching and dropping into the shoulders. We want this energy to move really clearly. And you're going to imagine that your tail again is like it is drawing a big circle. So similar to the spiral we had earlier on, but this time really imagine that tailbone is doing the movement of a big circle. My favorite image for this is to imagine that it's Winnie the Pooh's tongue inside a honey jar, and he's really trying to lick out all the honey with the tail being the tongue. Let this movement again start to spiral through the body, allowing the rest of the body to begin to respond. Once you've got this movement with the body and the torso, you can begin to get curious with your legs and your arms, and you do not need to stay on your mat. So you might suddenly feel like you want to reach and move, and then you circle a bit, and then you reach and you move. And allow this circling and this spiraling with your spine to create other shapes, moving the limbs in response from the spine moving. Be curious. What is it in this spiraling that happens, that unlocks? And the reason why we're wanting to introduce this unpredictability is because it allows the nervous system to build its resilience. It lets the mind and the brain rewire to be able to cope with unforeseen, unexpected circumstances. But we're doing it gently and at a pace that your somatic, your body nervous system can reattune to. When you feel complete, you might want to come down and rest in a child's pose, allowing your breath to settle. And when you feel complete, find your way back to a comfortable seated position and just take a moment to tune in to your body, your breath, the intimacy, what is currently being felt and has moved, what is rising and what is falling. And may you know that you're more capable than you imagine of being able to dynamically dance in this change. That you are more secure and more stable than looking to anything external. And in our next video, we will be dropping a little deeper into the practice of what it is that's between, what it is that is always underneath and in the spaces of everything that we explore, that holds us in that security and stability through dynamic change, through chaos, and through this collective awakening. I look forward to sharing the practice with you, a meditation. And until then, have a most wonderful week.
Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day.